Welcome to your Monday. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, aka your Mr. Monday, and this quick bit of motivation and inspiration was originally published on November the 26th, 2018. The original message goes as follows. People with low standards will lead a charge against people with high standards. Don't let them get away with it. So, going a bit deeper, one of the things I learned in my growing life of trying to figure out how to stop trying to help people who didn't want help was that you need to stop trying to help people who didn't really want help. One example of where I got this lesson really big was when I was working for master control for a large bank of TV stations. Now, we sat in a room and we managed a satellite system of different stations across the nation, all with similar programming with different commercials played on top of the shows. That's how we worked it out there. We had 3 different shifts, a daytime shift, a primetime shift, and an overnight shift. And the guy running the daytime shift on most days was complaining about the work not being done that was being left to his daytime guys to get it done. Every shift had to do so much pre-work, most of the work for the next shift, plus a little bit for the past there, so that things would flow on, continue without any hiccups. If something popped up and there was a major issue, we could find it long ahead of time and take care of it and plan ahead, get more people on it, if you will. He was complaining for a few weeks about different days where just extra work was being left for his daytime guys. They could barely get it done. So me being who I was, I came up with a system to log down what everyone else was doing. Of course, the daytime guy was resistant to do the system, but it was what it was. We kept on going through, kept on pushing, kept on doing what we could, only to find out when we actually put the work in that the day shift was not actually pulling its own weight. We were actually doing more work for the other shifts and leaving them well ahead. And at the end of the day, they always ended up behind because of various things. After that blow up and after that face-to-face, I learned to basically stop sticking my nose in places because people who really want to know the answer to questions like that usually figure it out on their own and don't need someone else to come up with a grand idea. And if they do, they're amenable to jumping in the first place. The initial resistance on figuring out where the work was coming out and how to even it out was my first clue that this guy didn't really care. Something else was up and that he knew that they were actually slacking on his own shift. You will run into plenty of people like that in plenty of situations, not just in work situations. You may have a friend that you've known forever that is just always dragging on people who are doing great stuff and at the same time not doing very much great stuff on their own and has no apologies for it. They just want the other people to look bad for whatever reason. These are people you need to maybe not totally step away from, but do avoid mass doses of taking them in for long periods of time. You will find that people who don't have much going for them will find the best thing to go for them is to tear down other people who have things going for them. They will do what they can to bring down a person with high standards who are trying to bring the place up, maybe on purpose, maybe just because of who they are, than to actually raise their own standards and deal with it or live with the low standards they're at. People with high standards make the people around them with lower standards look bad by comparison. So what do you actually do about this? Well, number one, you have high standards, so you stick to your high standards. Don't let someone tear you down because they can't deal with the fact that you're at a high standard. If you can help them raise their standard and they're amenable to it, please do. If you can help them raise their standard and they're not amenable to it, be available when they are more likely to interject with you or are forced to interject with you. And if they just don't want to deal with you, don't deal with them. And if the situation gets really, really bad, find a way to eject yourself from where you are and move on. If you're doing so great, you should probably find somewhere similar where you can do just as great, if not better, with a better crew. People with low standards will lead a charge against people with high standards. Don't let them get away with it. This original message was published on November 26, 2018 from Welcome to Your Monday. For more messages like this one, plus books, merchandise, and other information related to this project, visit the website welcometoyourmonday.com.